Oh, yeah. I think I saw a funnel from your shot earlier before it came included, and we're watching the rotation live. This is our tracker who's in the area near ceiling where the rotation is really wrapped up. This is what's happening today. All you have to do is it makes a quick right turn, and you see it. It's hard to see through the haze right now, but we were watching the base earlier. So this is Corey Inman. He's right on top of it. We continue our team coverage. We're going to go to links really quick. If we can do links 1 and then pitch it over to Chief Meteorologist Mike Morgan. We have team coverage. Thanks to Damian Lotus for driving this radar. This is our 4 box, so it's going to show you several different things at once. This is the storm we're eyeing. It's located north of Mutual. We're watching this rotation here right by the town of Mutual, so it's going to be lifting northeast and switching over to the south. This is, hopefully we don't ever have to use that. That's where we're looking for the debris that's being lofted. And then over here is the shear detector. So you can see that the shear has pulsed up right over the town of Mutual, right north of Mutual. So that's what we're watching. Let's take a zoomed in view. If actually we could put a track on this. No, we can't yet. Okay. Let's go ahead and go out to either Corey Inman or to Eric Dixon for the latest. Let's go to Dixon.
Yeah, it looks like a tornado on the ground here, Emily. Tornado now on the ground. This is going to be up here in the Mutual area. Tornado now on the ground, everybody. So this is going to be Mutual eastbound. Again, we've been talking about this cell for a long time, so Mutual now, and then Fairview at 7:09, back to Carmen, Helena, Gulfstream, Jet, Nash, Lahoma at 7:41. So this is going to be just to the northeast of Mutual, up toward Bouse Junction, north of Ceiling, right here, tornado on the ground, and the rotation center there is located very close to Mutual. We've got a couple of trackers on it. We're going to give you a view of that. Let's go to Corey Inman here first. Corey, you showed us a large wall cloud with a likely funnel cloud just a few short minutes ago. It's now connected from the cloud base to the ground, lifting dust and spinning. So tornado on the ground. Tell us what you got. Let's go to Eric Dixon here live. Let's go, Corey.
Okay, Mike. I'm northwest of Ceiling here on Northwest Highway. You're looking at a large cone funnel. We're northwest bound
Free
from
base
Ceiling.
right there. You see the Corey Inman is closing. Corey Inman is closing on the tornado. You see the tornado coming into the view right now, the frame right there. You see the wall cloud there. The tornado clearly is on the ground. So it's an ongoing tornado right here. So he's closing in on it. He was having to reposition just a bit because it's complicated, these supercells and the heavy rain and the giant hail, but clearly a tornado on the ground ongoing right now. This is going to be very close to Mutual. It is a cone tornado continuing to strengthen right now. Go Corey Inman.
Yeah, Mike, we're still northwest bound, headed towards that. You've got the large cone funnel hanging down there. We're unable to see any debris or anything on the ground from right here, but that doesn't mean that it's not on the ground. Looks like it may be trying to rope out here just a little bit or try to re-intensify. So we're northwest of Ceiling coming up towards the Mutual area, and that thing it continues to hang there. It looks like it's going to try to rope out right now, Mike. This is just south of the highway coming in. We're northwest of Ceiling headed towards Woodward and don't see anything in contact with the ground. Tried to rope out there and looks like it's gonna go ahead and rope out.
So we're going to hold your shot right here, and there it goes into the rope stage. It may still be on the ground. It's going through the rope stage right there. Very dynamic tornado because it's changing shape very fast. Look at it swirling and twisting and turning. As it goes through the rope stage, it's probably still on the ground right there. And look how fast that whole thing is moving and turning. You're looking at it live right here on Oklahoma's News 4. This is booked by Mutual to the northwest of Ceiling with a tornado warning in effect. There's also another tornado warning on the cell merging into this one. Here's the rear flank downdraft coming in, and the tornado now is roping. It's roping out. Let's go back over to Corey Inman. This is to the west of Fairview, southwest of Bouse Junction, north of Ceiling right now. Go Corey Inman.
Yeah, Mike, right now the tornado is lifted. There's still some rotation there at the cloud base where that thing roped out, but right now the tornado has completely dissipated. Don't have anything there, any type of funnel or anything. So the tornado that we had there is is dissipated, and we'll sit here and see what happens as this thing cycles, Mike. Back to you.
Let's go over to Lynx 1. Damien, so we have a bit of a developing situation right here. We have 3 tornado warnings in effect. So here is the tornado warning here just southeast of Sealing. And we have a tornado warning also just to the northeast of Mutual. That's the tornado that you just saw. So we have 2 tornado warnings here. And this one's going to be traveling. This is really a heads up for Fairview. Heads up for Fairview, everybody in Major County. There's a lot of energy up here. 2 ongoing tornado warnings right now up here in northwestern Oklahoma, and they're turning more to the right. They're very large supercells. You saw the tornado there live just a short minute ago from Corey Inman. And that's going to be the one here northeast of Mutual right here up towards Cedardale, and then the area just to the east of Sealing. So heads up for you folks from Sealing over toward Canton Lake and Longdale. Canton Lake and Longdale. Let's take the velocity full if we can. We'll go to the velocities full and look at the wind in the velocity section of those storms. There's nothing approaching Oklahoma City right now that is of a big concern. Nothing right now approaching the metro that is a big concern. We're going to go ahead and, Damien's driving this here, we're going to go ahead and zoom on in and get you kind of focused in on northwest Oklahoma is what we're talking about. And we have 2 tornado warnings up here, and both of these areas of rotation are quite strong. You just saw the tornado near Mutual, and it's moving over into Major County. There's Fairview right there. Here's Sealing. Circulation there east side of Sealing, and also the area near Mutual. Let's go back to Corey Inman with a live update on that tornado. It has lifted right now. Go, Corey.
Technically 3 warnings. There's 3 warnings.
So where's the third one?
Yeah, Mike, right now that tornado has lifted, and I've got the camera pointed back to the northwest here, just kind of looking at a couple of areas of rotation there out of that wall cloud that had the tornado. There's some broad rotation in there. But that tornado quickly dissipated, and don't see anything that looks like, we've got another tornado imminent, Mike.
Okay, let's go to Eric Dixon here with a live update also from tornado warnings here just north of Sealing, just southeast of Sealing, and east of Mutual. 3 tornado warnings up here. Eric Dixon, go.
Yeah, we're about 15 miles west of Fairview right now. We're looking a little bit to the northwest. There's kind of a base back in there. It's kind of getting occluded by the rain, so we're going to have to keep up with this storm. But the visibility on this tornado is going to be very limited on this, so we're going to go ahead and keep repositioning and trying to get into a clear spot as we're heading towards the Fairview area. Back to you.
Okay, very good. So we have 2 tornado warnings here, 3 technically, and we'll go ahead and back up and take a look, give you the time of arrival here for you folks in the path. So we've had 1 confirmed tornado near Mutual. Saw that live. Here's the projection on that. Fairview at 7:09, Carmen at 7:18, Helena at 7:30, Lahoma at 7:41, and then Enid by 7:57. So 7:45, 8 o'clock hour for Enid. That has produced a confirmed tornado. You saw it live. And then here's the tornado warning near Sealing. And that's going to be Longdale. Talked about Canton and Longdale, Canton Lake and Longdale. Fairview, 6:55, maybe the south side of Fairview, but kind of heading directly toward Fairview. O'Keene, Ringwood, Lahoma. Again, the Enid area at 7:44. The reason why both storms are showing up with both towns here is because they're very close to each other, so they're both kind of in that cone of track, if you will. So we're looking at 2 tornado warnings. There's 1 and there's 2. 1 and 2 right there. There's technically a 3rd tornado warning in between those 2. So right in between both of those, there's a 3rd tornado warning right there. Let's go back over to Corey Inman and get an update here. Corey, go. Eric Dixon, go ahead. We see a rear flank downdraft right there with Corey Inman, so it's redeveloping and reorganizing right now. Go, Eric Dixon.
Yeah, Mike, we're on Highway 60. We're heading east just to get out of this rain here. But, that it kind of had a little bit of a lowering back in there and just, for a moment, and then the rain just totally takes it over. But one thing to note, we're doing about 60 down this highway, and this storm is just really, gaining on us here. It'll gain and it'll redevelop. It's just nuts up here how this is going and how fast this is developing. So folks in the Fairview area really need to be prepared for this tornado warning that's heading your way. But we are moving in the direction of the Fairview area right now. We're trying to get into a clear spot. We'll get you a better shot here shortly. Mike?
Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and go back to radar here, and we're going to show you what we've got going on. These are big supercells up here, and we're looking at northwest Oklahoma. And this is going to be the Woodward area right here. There's Waynoka, and then we head on down into Major County. So that's a big, powerful supercell that Corey and Eric Dixon have been on, and also down here on the east side of Sealing with a big hook now on the east side of Sealing. Let's go to Aaron Brackett in the Interceptor. He's very, very close to that. Just east of Sealing right now. Aaron, a big hook there forming quite fast, heading for Canton Lake.
Yeah, Mike, we're just punching through Kingfisher right now. We came from Eakley with that storm. We're on the backside of it, and it looks like it's almost becoming absorbed by the 3 tornado warned storms right now, which is just an absolute powerhouse in northwestern Oklahoma. We're working our way that direction, closing in on it, but with these 3 circulations right here, kind of absorbing the storm over Hennessy and Dover, the one that had a history of baseball-sized hail earlier on near the Weatherford area, that's kind of sucking it in. So really a lot of energy up there in northwest Oklahoma that's punching very quickly off to the east. So folks need to be aware, and parts of Major County and just anywhere ahead of this thing as it moves toward the Fairview area and places out ahead of it, even out of the warnings that are out ahead of it, Welcomus and Hennessy, Highway 81, and within the next hour and a half. Mike? Okay,
very good. So let's go ahead and go to Lynx 1 and show the Metro here while we have a little bit of time here to talk about it. Let's go over to Max 1. Let's go over to Max 1 here while Damien shows you the Metro here. So this is a big, powerful supercell right here, coming up on just south of Bouse Junction. Corey Inman's got a big, what we call rear flank downdraft. It's already produced a tornado near Mutual. So that's a big, powerful supercell, and a hook also east of Sealing, heading for Canton Lake, Longdale, and Fairview. There are 3 tornado warnings because there are technically 3 storms embedded in all of this. There's the big baseball and tennis ball size hailer coming up through Ames and Lahoma and Wacomas and Enid. So that may still have tennis balls and baseballs. It very much still has very large hail lifting fast to the north-northeast at about 50 miles per hour. Then you have these 3 supercells here, and the hail sizes are every bit of baseballs in there and maybe even some 3-inch diameter hail. So lots of damaging hail with the 3 polygons that you see right there. Those are the tornado warnings. So here's the primary one that produced the tornado. Fairview at 710, Carmen 719, Helena 731, Lahoma 741. Let's go back over to Corey Inman. Tracking that, we showed a big rear flank downdraft with that and another big beefy wall cloud forming right now. Go, Corey.
Yeah, Mike, this is to the northwest of Sealing. Like you said, just constant evolution of this thing back here. And that's the area where we had the first tornado, just continues to cycle. And we get a wall cloud to form in there and get some tags to hang down. Still, quite a bit of inflow blowing back into that area, probably 30 to 35. So we're just northwest of Sealing here trying to pace it. And right now, nothing that screams funnel or tornado imminent, but we're right here with it, Mike.
Okay. Let's go over to Lynx 1 here and just take a look at the metro area. And go ahead and take it, if you want, Damien, go ahead and take it full. So there's just a little small hail going on the west side of Moore right now. And nothing severe in the metro. Just want to keep folks forewarned every place. We have a lot going on, a fair amount going on right now. So a little bit of hail here coming into Moore. It's going to be some dimes, maybe a couple of nickels in there. We'll go ahead and push all the way in. And this is going to be North Newcastle, I-44, Southwest Oklahoma City, and West Moore, Highway 37, I-44 right there. That's got some dimes and nickels with it. You see the motion. You see the motion here. You're talking about Moore, Southwest Oklahoma City, OCCC, 240, I-35, Crossroads Mall, Southwest Oklahoma City right here. Dimes and nickels, thunder and lightning and heavy rain coming in right now. They're approaching severe levels, but they're not especially severe, but they do have some small hail. Let's go back over to Max 1. And we're going to go from the metro back up to this giant supercell up here with a big, deep mesocyclone on it and another big, deep mesocyclone east of Sealing to the just west now of Canton Lake. And Aaron Brackett is now very, very close to that, moving into Blaine County. So got the chopper up here as well. Let's go back over to Corey Inman with an update on that. Corey?
Yeah, Mike, coming into the west side of Sealing, just a tremendous amount of rain. We're shooting into that area there where we had the tornado earlier. Inflow is really starting to increase one more time here. So we're going to pull over and kind of see what happens here. This is what it did previously before we had that tornado. So you can see still getting some development with the lowering back there, just to the north, maybe a little bit northwest of Sealing. There is a little bit of rotation there. It's cloud base. And like I said, the inflow blowing into it, we're probably 40, 45 right now. So just hanging out here on the highway coming into the northwest side of Sealing, see if anything happens, Mike.
Thank you so much. Ongoing big supercells up here with very large hail, ongoing tornado threat. Emily, certainly Fairview, major county area heads up here, points eastward.
That's right. Mike, we don't see that too often where, boom, we get 3 tornado warnings right in the same vicinity. That happened very quickly. We were watching all these big hailstorms. Right now, you're looking at our Norman cam. You can see how fast the clouds are moving. If you are watching in the metro area, obviously, a lot of people are probably on edge given how this storm season has been so far, and also that we're under a PDS tornado watch, but this is not severe for the Oklahoma City metro. You may have some small hail. We can see the rain falling from this cam right now. Here's a wider view, continued tornado warnings. We're watching that 3 earlier, but we have 1 main circulation right now, even a reported funnel with it. Eyeing that closely, continued severe thunderstorm warning that earlier had multiple reports of up to baseball size hail. Let's go ahead and zoom in into the latest. So confirmed tornado, the purple box there, that means confirmed tornado with it. So here's the latest. That's what we're watching. You can see there's still a hook with that north of Sealing. This is going to be traveling east, northeast, straight towards Ringwood. Now, there are still technically 2 other tornado warnings just south of it. Let's go back to Corey Inman, who's on top of this one. Corey, what's your location? We were watching earlier. It had a funnel. Now more reports of funnels. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Emily, on the northwest side of Sealing, we're going to get over here and turn north towards the Chester area. You can see the lowering back there be almost due north of Sealing. That's the area that produced the tornado earlier. Don't have any type of funnel cloud or anything there, but that thing continues to change shape, and there is quite a bit of rotation at the cloud base, but nothing that says funnel right now. So there's a lot of heavy rain and big hail north of Sealing up towards the Chester area, and then on over to the north and east. But right now here north of Sealing, no funnel, no tornado, Emily.
Okay, Corey, well, if you get a little bit closer to Chester, there's an ongoing tornado 3 to 4 miles north of Chester right now, ongoing tornado. So we're going to get more eyes on the ground there. We're keeping a close eye on your shot as well. Let's go back to the maps where we continue to track this powerful supercell. Remember, all these polygons going on right now, but what you need to know, technically 3 tornado warnings. The purple means there's a confirmed tornado with it. Let's switch over to velocity, and this is what we're looking at. You see where the red meets the green. That's where we're watching the circulation. It has pulsed up, it's tightened up, so likely a tornado on the ground. This would be just east of North 2250 road, and it's going to be veering off to the east-northeast, kind of paralleling Highway 412. So this is impacting Chester right now. The town of Chester, confirmed tornado just north of the town, and it is going to be moving east. Eventually, if it holds its same track, it will be heading just south of Cleo Springs or likely towards Fairview. So let's zoom in a little bit closer. There you go. You can see the circulation. It's just crossing Highway 281, and it will be moving more to the east here, paralleling Highway 412. So a wider view. In addition to that, very big hail cores now pulsing up for Canton, just north of Canton. This is likely baseball-sized hail forming, and another big hail core over Ames. And farther south, we're just tracking some new storm development. Those aren't severe, so we don't have to worry about it right now. We want to focus on our main storms. Let's go out to Eric Dixon, who's also in this area, and then we'll go back to Corey Inman as they are monitoring this tornadic supercell. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we're pulling into Fairview right now, so we're going to take a spot here real soon, turn back to the west. We don't see a lot of lowering in this area because there's just so much rain back in there. So that's the thing that to note is if you're looking out, and if you're trying to find the tornado, if you take a look, you're really not going to see it coming. You're going to have a lot of rain, a lot of hail and that tornado is going to be kind of behind it. If there's going to be a tornado in there, so they'll kind of tuck themselves back in there, possibly even become rain wrapped. So we're in Fairview right now. We're going to try to get a good position, turn around and look back at it, but there's not much of a view currently visually of a lowering in this area because we're kind of in the rain core here, but we're going to get ourselves in that position momentarily. Emily?
Okay, thanks for that. Let's go back to the maps, and we continue to track this tornado warning in northern Oklahoma and confirmed tornado a few miles north of Chester. Very concerning. This escalated very quickly. These have been producing huge hailstones. We've been seeing several different reports so far today of up to baseball-sized hail. What happens is those supercells are moving more to the north or to the northeast, and as soon as they turn right, then the circulation wraps up and produces a tornado. So this is exactly what's happening right now. This is located north of Sealing, zooming in where the red meets the green, the yin and the yang. That represents the tornadic circulation that has already crossed Highway 281. Right now, it's in a more rural part of the country, one of the bigger towns nearby, Sealing, that is north of Sealing. As far as the other storms go, we're not seeing any imminent circulation. Looks like there's a little circulation west of Longdale right now, but this is the main circulation with the confirmed tornado moving off to the northeast. Let's go back to Corey Inman, who's also in that area. Earlier had a funnel with it. Corey is repositioning, getting closer to that tornadic circulation. Corey, we know you're facing the other way right now, but what can you tell us? Go ahead, Corey.
Emily, we're just south of Chester here, trying to get up to Chester and blast east. Looking in there, just trying to see through the rain from where we're at. Looks like we might have. Let me get the wipers on the camera here. Looks like we might be able to see the left side of it here, just over these trees. But we're coming in just south of Chester and getting ready to go east, Emily.
Okay, thanks for that report. Let's go back to the maps right now, and we continue to track these supercells. What's been happening is they have been merging, and as the two merge, boom, we had 3 tornado warnings. You can see the curl on this one. That is the hook. That's the main circulation we're concerned about, and it's traveling off to the east, northeast. It's eventually going to be making its way north of Fairview and towards Ringwood. So this is becoming the more dominant supercell at this time as the other storms merged together. We had additional rotation, which sparked the other tornado warnings, but this is the main tornadic circulation. And then off to the east, there's another storm. This was the one that produced some very large hail earlier, up to baseball-sized hail from Gotebo, and now it's traveled all the way up through Aaron Brackett's been on top of that one. That one's merged in as well, but that's off to the east. And that will be heading towards Enid, by the way. There is a hail core that is just west of Enid eventually in the next 10 to 15 minutes and could also have some large hail. But we're mainly focusing on this tornadic storm. Let's switch over to velocity. And yeah, we're still watching this couplet here east of North Road 2250, moving off to the north and east. I believe we also have Mike Bennett in this area. Let's go to Mike Bennett.
Okay, Emily, yeah, we're passing through Winoka now. We let that storm go up into Kansas. We're passing through Winoka. We're kind of caught in some traffic here. It'll take us just a minute to get out of town, and then we'll be south. And we're going to be in pretty good position on that. We're going to swing in behind it. We're making our way to Bouse Junction as quick as possible. Emily?
Okay, thanks for that. Let's go to Corey Inman right now. Go back to Corey Inman, who's on this storm. Corey, go ahead.
Yeah, Emily, just east of Chester, scanning back up in there. Let me get through the trees here. Looking back in there, Emily, trying to look through the rain. It should be right in there where the camera's pointed as we go in and out of the hills and through the trees here. Just trying to get a clear slot where we can actually see up in there. So we're eastbound out of Chester, and I think should be on the ground right up in there where the camera's pointed, Emily.
Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for that report. Yeah, we're going to be checking back in with you. We know earlier we had that confirmed funnel on your shot before the rain ended up wrapping around it. And our trackers are getting back into position. This is all evolving very quickly. I wanted to put a track on this for anyone in the area. The tornado sirens are going in this region. I'm sure your phones are going off as well. Good thing to have multiple warnings. And of course, with storms nearby and a potent day like today, you need to be ready to take action and go into your safe spot, either storm shelter, basement, or an interior room away from windows. This is going to continue to track off to the east at around 30 miles per hour. Here's the current track. So Fairview 725, moving into Helena State School at 752, that time frame. So eventually heading towards Ringwood and Lahoma at its current track. So switching over to velocity, it has slowed down a little bit, just sitting there, moving off to the north. We had a confirmed tornado over near Chester, just north of the town of Chester. In addition to that, I am still watching this circulation west of Longdale. So a little circulation starting to pulse up west of Longdale. We're keeping an eye on that. Technically, there are 3 tornado warnings, but this is definitely the dominant supercell at this time. And a wider view is showing still some very large hail with this as well. North of Sealing, a huge hail core, north of Canton, and the biggest hail core right now is northeast of Ames. And this is that same prolific hailer that started all the way in southwestern Oklahoma, moved through Gotebo, and then off to the north and east. This is the one that Aaron Brackett was on, where it had baseball-size hail, and it's still producing very large hail as it moves off to the north. So big hailers remain here as well. Let's go to one of our trackers right now. Let's check back in with Corey Inman. Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, Emily, we're just east of Chester here. You're looking back to the north, and this is the area where the tornado was at. You can see no tornado on the ground right now. That wall cloud there is kind of going through a cycling phase and does have still quite a bit of rotation with it, but don't see anything on the ground right now. There's a little bit of upward motion there on the left side of the wall cloud, and you can see the rotation with it as it wraps in there. So right now, nothing on the ground, and this is 2 to 3 miles to the east of Chester looking north.
Okay, thanks for that report. Yes, we appreciate that. Golf ball size hail just west of Drummond. We're getting more reports of some large hail coming out of these storms. So that is one consistent thing for sure. I'm trying to find out the latest information here. Yeah, so that was definitely a confirmed tornado. It still has a hook with it. We have a PDS tornado watch. This continues until 11 p.m., so we're not done yet. Some storms rolling up into the South Metro. I want to tell you they are not severe, so that's important to note. Also, what is not severe at this time, I know we're under a PDS tornado watch. If anything, showers moving through the Metro right now is a good thing. It can rob potential future energy. So, taking a look, you can see the hook wrapping in up into the storm. This is the dominant supercell with the tornado warning. As 2 supercells merged together, they produced 3 tornadic circulations, and that's why we have all these polygons right now. The darker purple, that is a confirmed tornado that happened north of Chester about 10 to 15 minutes ago, and it continues to move off to the north and east, a persistent circulation that will be tracking north of Fairview towards Clio Springs. So you can see the circulation almost occluding north, and this has been the trend all season. So it was going east earlier, and it's almost occluding into itself up into the rain. Let's go back to Corey Inman, who's watching it. Corey, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Emily, this thing, it's really kind of gusted out here the last couple of minutes. Kind of concerned about the new circulation on the storm down around the Longdale area. This thing appears to be gusting out, but we're gonna hang here with it as we go east towards Fairview. But right now,
all right, clear shot of it, though. We appreciate your storm report. Let's take it to Chief Meteorologist Mike Morgan as we have team coverage. Mike, this has been evolving quickly today.
It really has, and I would very much say so far so good. There's a PDS tornado watch out right now. We've had a big complex of storms develop early in this event, and lift to the north-northeast. It has cooled the environment with a lot of high wind and hail out here in west central Oklahoma. And I would say, at least so far, so good on this PDS tornado watch. You see it in green right here. Tornado warnings up here, but it appears those tornadoes, the one by Mutual and the one by Chester, has lifted. It looks like they have lifted right now. The tornado warnings do continue. We only have just a small little heavy rain core down here in the South Metro right now. And notice that everything back here is somewhat de-energized because the atmosphere has been cooled by the big complex of storms that lifted fast to the north through west central Oklahoma. We're going to zoom on into the metro right here. So I'd say so far so good. That's not doing anything down here in Moore. We're fine. It's over here toward Tinker and Draper Lake. Heavy downpours of rain. That's it. Right here, brief heavy downpours of rain. That's it. So far so good. Now, we have to say in the same breath that with the dynamics in place, that things can change very fast. Now, this is going to be a troublemaker down here coming into Love County, south of Ardmore. And we've got Aaron Sanders on this in far southern Oklahoma, down here on the Red River. That's going to be a troublemaker down here. It's had a history of producing tornadoes, and it's got a strong mesocyclone with it right now north of Nocona and to the west of Leon and Thackerville. So a strong mesocyclone right there with a big hook. There's your time of arrival. We're talking about maybe Lone Grove, maybe Ardmore, probably south. We're really talking about the area in Love County around Leon and Marietta. Marietta about 7:15 or so. Near and south of Ardmore is where that one is going. And it's got quarters to tennis ball size hail with it. Now we're going to go up here. Big gust front has rolled through related to that big pocket of cooling air that has been moving through western Oklahoma, and it's undercutting the mesocyclones for the time being. Now, we're not saying that we may not ramp back up, but what I am saying is so far so good. There is a lot of baseballs and tennis balls here. Lahoma, baseballs lifting to the north, a lot of hail here, and tennis ball to baseballs west of O'Keene, very close to Fairview, south of Fairview, and western Major County, tennis balls there. So a bunch of hail, 3 big hail cores right here. In fact, you can kind of see a subtle counterclockwise spin in the hail cores indicating this is a big area of intense low pressure. That's why we had that tornado out there by Mutual that you saw live from Corey Inman. So there is still a little bit of a hook right here just to the southwest of Fairview. Eric Dixon is right there in Fairview. So let's go to Eric Dixon live. We're going to talk about that storm with baseballs now coming up on Fairview with a little hook and some rotation right there to southwest of Fairview. Go Eric Dixon.
Yeah, Mike, we're just east of Fairview. We're making our way south right now on Highway 8 towards O'Keene. Got in the trees right now, but I can tell, as I pop out of these trees here, you're going to see a tail cloud. That tail cloud is it's a feeder band where it's feeding in to this mesocyclone that's starting to form on the southwest side of Fairview. So we're fixing to get a really good vantage point to look back up at it or over at it.
Okay, Eric, thank you very much. Let's go back over to radar here. So this is a report around Fairview. And then the circulation that had a tornado here near Chester and Mutual. We're talking about the area southeast of Bouse Junction, heading up toward Cleo Springs and Orienta. Ongoing tornado warnings here, so our guard cannot be let down. But there has been a big, you see the green here lifting to the north. This is a great big area of outflow, cooler wind blasting to the north, and it's undercutting these mesocyclones. Now, there they are. There's one right there, and there's one right here. Now, these may regenerate. They're heading into a more favorable environment over in Garfield County, the Enid area. So heads up. Let's go to Corey Inman on the storm that produced the tornadoes out there by Mutual. Still has a wall cloud. Corey, we're talking about this big blast of wind coming in, and you have a wall cloud there. There is still some broad rotation right there, and this is to the west of Fairview.
Yeah, Mike, that thing just kind of formed there in the last minute or two. Just kind of.
Mark, we're heading towards James.
Tornado warning here, looking at the wall cloud. We don't believe there's any tornadoes on the ground right now, which is really good. So go back to velocities here and look at it. So this is going to be out here in western Major County, right in through here. Earlier we had the tornado, but it looks like that it has lifted and the mesocyclone is considerably weaker right now. And this is out here by Bouse Junction, west of Clio Springs and Oriena, and near Cheyenne Valley in the river right there. And there's the activity near Fairview. Let's go back over to Eric Dixon with that ongoing hook. That'll go into a more favorable environment over there toward Ames and Ringwood. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, I'm turning the truck here around right now. As you can kind of see the mezzo back in there, a little bit of a rain-free base. We got a good view of it now. We was kind of caught up in the rain and the hail. So we're just to the just to the north of O'Keene and just to the west of Ames right here on Highway 8. We're going to head east with it. But that is basically the area that we would be watching for a tornado to develop. And it looks like, it's kind of lowering back in there. We're kind of looking towards that right edge there with the rain shaft for any development of a tornado back in there. But again, we're just to the southwest of Ames, which would be also just to the southeast of Fairview and about halfway, up to the O'Keene, probably about 10 miles north of O'Keene. So we got a good road to go towards Ames. And kind of stay parallel with this storm and look back at its base here. But we got a good clear view of it here right now. We got some scud starting to develop. I'm going to zoom the camera in. Some scud developing right there on the right-hand side. I'm going to zoom in there. It looks like we may have a possible tag coming down, a possible funnel right in there. So we're watching that area closely. It just started to develop. You can kind of tell it's kind of an inflow area there, but we're keeping it, it's evolving very quickly on this. Back to you, Mike.
Okay, let's go back over to radar here. So the tornado warnings do continue, but right now, no immediate indication of tornadic activity. This area of Hook here, south of Fairview, that's the one storm that may re-intensify going into a more favorable environment. So let's storm track that for you folks out of Major County into Garfield County. And there it is right there. We're talking about Ames and Lahoma at 727. And then over here by, that's just to the southwest of Enid right there at 733. And that's that cell there in Major County. Emily, things are evolving very quickly here. We've got ongoing tornado warnings right now. We don't think any tornadoes on the ground. That's really good news.
That's right. That's fantastic news. And we continue to track the latest here, Mike, with our team of trackers. We still have this tornado warning that continues to move off to the north and east. One thing is that these have been prolific hailers, so producing up to baseball size hail. And we continue to watch these storms as they move north and east. We have our team coverage behind the scenes. Thankful we have John Slater, Damian Lotus. He'll be chiming in as well as we are tracking and analyzing. There you go, a view of the meteorologists. We are tracking the latest as a team to keep you forewarned. Of course, we have Aaron Brackett in the field as well. Let's go out to meteorologist Aaron Brackett, where earlier, Aaron, you had baseball size hail. I was watching off camera as you had that huge hail falling that was started near southwestern Oklahoma near Godibo and then managed to make its way all the way now in northern Oklahoma, where it's still producing hail. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, Emily, that storm was near Hydro, and we watched it move through Kingfisher County, so it went from about Geary to north of Okarche and Kingfisher, and now that same storm is kind of almost being absorbed and spiraled into the bigger one, hence that severe thunderstorm warning for Garfield County. It's basically right over Enid right now, so the Enid area is getting those large baseballs. The storm has a really long history, almost hour and a half, 2 hour history of producing these really large baseball plus size hailstones. So, we consider ourselves lucky we were able to get out just ahead of it as it was developing. Saw baseballs around us, headed north and took shelter at a gas station. And now the threat, is this huge complex of supercellular activity moving through northern Oklahoma. We're between Hennessy and Wacomas right now, heading north on Highway 81. We're starting to see a little bit of definition in the clouds, just a little bit from that storm. Again, that's right over Enid and north central Garfield County, passing over Highway 412. And again, of course, the tornadic storms that are on the backside or the west side of this that are kind of curling and wrapping on in. So we're heading up toward the Enid area, watching this as it moves off to the east. hoping that low-level jet doesn't really add to what's already going on. That could be a very volatile situation here about the next hour plus as that wind several thousand feet above our heads wraps up into these storms, Emily.
That's right. We're not done yet, although it is a little encouraging to see some of these storms that are, for example, moving over the metro right now. John, you were talking about some winds earlier. Go ahead and tell me real quick.
Very strong winds up around Lahoma, south at 60 miles an hour.
Okay, thanks for that. Yes. We're doing this live, guys. We are tracking the latest. You can see the big severe thunderstorms across northern Oklahoma. That continues. And we have the tornado warning ongoing. What happened is we had two supercells that merged together. And those two supercells ended up having 3 tornado warnings right now. The dominant supercell actually produced a tornado north of Chester, and that has now moved away. We continue our team coverage right now. Let's take it out to Damian Lotus, who has quick analysis, and then we'll go back to Mike Morgan. Go ahead, Damian.
Yeah, Emily, so as we're looking at the links, we're going to be able to show you
Mike.
What we're going to be talking about here. I'll send it back to you. We'll get this Mike.
Okay, great. Yeah, you're looking at a 4 box right now, and what we're seeing is on here, the velocity to the right and to the left is the reflectivity. If we can go back to max 3, I can show you the latest right now as we continue to track this severe weather. This tornado watch goes until 11 p.m., so we're just getting started. Let's go ahead and zoom on in, and you're seeing in northern Oklahoma what's left. It's a mess. Look at all these polygons, right? So the yellow, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. The red, those are tornado warnings, although at this time we're not seeing an imminent tornado threat out of it. Let's zoom on in, and in addition to this, very large hail, and I'm watching that hail core east of Fairview now pulsing up. And we're going to still have some strong winds, 70 to 80 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and look to the east. Look at those hail cores. So sure enough, it is pulsing up north of O'Keene, pulsing up north of Lahoma, near Enid as well. And then farther to the south, hey, Oklahoma City Metro, we're seeing some storms right now moving into Piedmont, moving into Oklahoma City and Choctaw. These are not severe. And if anything, this is fantastic news because it could rob some of the moisture. It could rob some of the potential energy for storms later on. Not saying we won't see storms later on, but it's a good thing because it's robbing some of that potential fuel for storms later in the day. Storms continue over Hobart into Rush Springs. Hobart, it is starting to pulse up. And here's a wider view again. Let's go to Corey Inman, who's in northwestern Oklahoma, who is tracking this tornado-warned storm. Although it has shown great signs of improvement, now we're looking still at a big hail and a big flooding risk. Go ahead.
Yeah, Emily, we're just west of Fairview, kind of playing in between storms, catching up to this lead storm. I've got the camera pointed back to the northwest. That's the storm that's produced the 2 tornadoes already. Looks like maybe starting to get another wall cloud to the northwest of Fairview. Maybe let me pan the camera here. Maybe right over just to the north of 412. Another little lowering starting to develop there. Quite a bit of inflow still blowing into that area. We're coming into Fairview here to get east of the storm, Emily.
Okay, thanks for that. Let's go ahead and still take a look at the latest. So a wider view. I'm trying to see what source that is. Who is that right now, Mark? Behind me. Let's go to, okay, great. Let's go to Eric Dixon, where he's definitely tracking a wall cloud, a base of the storm. We're seeing it right now. Go ahead and tell us where you're looking and what you've seen so far. What's your exact location right now?
Emily, I'm just southwest of Ames. I'm looking back towards the west-northwest. That's going to be just to the southeast side of Fairview. So this is a base up in here. It's kind of lowering a little bit. It's back up in this is where that notch is on the radar back in there. So it's an area that needs watched very closely. You can kind of tell it kind of bowls out there. It's not a straight line. It's just kind of bowled out right there, which indicates, that's an area of inflow. It's where all the air is trying to go into this storm. That's kind of where, we'd be looking for a tornado in that area. It's kind of tucked back up in there just beside that rain shaft there, that rain and that hail. So we're keeping a really close eye on that particular spot here. We finally got out in the clearing here. These storms were really hauling. They got a lot of heavy rain and a lot of hail. So we was able to get out of that and get to the south of the storm and watch it real closely here. But we're just to the southwest of Ames right now, so we have a good road to go east with this. Emily?
Okay, thanks for that. And the storm he's on right now, we're really seeing that hail core northwest of Ames pulse up, and that has been a huge hazard for the past couple of hours. Numerous reports of baseball-sized hail, and that's going to do a lot of damage to property, and that's been a hazard as well as, of course, the tornadoes. Confirmed tornado north of Chester. And one thing I want to point out really quick too, if you're tuning in for the Oklahoma City Metro, we have storms pulsing up over the village, moving northeast to Edmond. These are not severe, although there could be some small hail out of it. But this is great news because it could be robbing potential fuel for storms later on. So definitely happy to see that. And clouds moving in, obviously a lot of people on alert, on edge when we have this going on, this type of system. Off to the south, we're still tracking those tornado warned storms. It is right along the Red River. So we are watching that storm that's going to be heading towards Marietta. Well, let me go switch over to that radar really quick. So still near the Red River, there have been multiple tornadoes that have been ongoing in Texas, and this is hooking west of Leon, so it's crossing over the Red River, and the track is going to be taking it towards Marietta. Let me put a track on that tornado. So it's going to be moving east into Marietta at around 8:03 p.m. We continue our team coverage here, and let's go to Aaron Brackett, meteorologist Aaron Brackett. Aaron, you know, this is a good thing. We're seeing some rain moving into the Oklahoma City Metro right now because earlier in the day, everyone can feel it when it's a storm day. It's so hot, so humid, and creating a powder keg situation. Sure enough, storms went up, and we saw baseball-sized hail. You were in the thick of it, but we're really hoping that it's an improvement for the Metro situation as we head into the evening hours.
Yeah, we were right there. Storms were firing real quick south of I-40, and they were rotating supercells. That's for sure. The rotating supercells can give you very large hail, and we had that here in the interceptor. We were able to come out of it unscathed, which is really good. But we were right on the leading edge of it. Now that storm is pretty much moving into northern Oklahoma, kind of absorbed into that large supercell, or at least out in front of it. Right now we're in Waukomis, heading due west out of Waukomis, and after we crest the hill a little bit, might be able to get you a look. We could see a lowering just a second ago when we were on Highway 74. Might be able to see right now. So you'll probably see a picture here in a couple seconds. We have a pretty good inflow cloud coming into the tail end of the storm. So as Kevin Josephine kind of pans the camera around, you're going to see some kind of low-hanging clouds, horizontal cloud deck that's kind of wrapping up into the storm, and might be able to see some of the striations in the rotating supercell here as well. This, again, is about 2 miles west of Waukomis. We're just moving west of Waukomis, and the storm is coming right at us. The little kind of stinger tail that was there near Fairview is likely the area of rotation that we're showing you. So, again, there is some inflow coming into the storm. Our south winds are not strong right now. They're not strong, not nearly as strong as they were near I-40. But, again, this is a pretty big complex of thunderstorms, lots of lightning that's coming right into the Enid area. Enid has that hailstorm from earlier that has kept going for over 2 hours, and then there's more behind it. So following this as it comes into parts of northern Oklahoma, Emily.
Okay, thanks for that report from Aaron Brackett. Yeah, great analysis there, and this is what he's looking at. So showing, you see the deep shades of red over Ames. That represents those higher winds heading east. So many threats today. Of course, the potential of damaging winds. What we are concerned about is that we head towards the evening hours, and this is what we've been seeing all season long. The tornado risk goes up as the sun sets. Now, the ongoing storms, that's going to rob a lot of potential energy. And so we're hoping that will help things out. But we still have a large PDS tornado watch, and that's going to continue all the way until 11 p.m. So let's take a look at the wider view. And you're seeing right now these storms that are continuing in northern Oklahoma. Look at this loop. This is a 3-hour loop. You can see how the two supercells merged, and it ended up producing 3 tornado warnings. At this time, though, no tornado warnings. So that is fantastic news. Here's a wider view. Let's confirm this. And at this time, yep, just severe thunderstorm warnings. Now, the only exception is in far southern Oklahoma. We're seeing that right now. Far southern Oklahoma, we're seeing that tornado warning continuing. And a new development in other areas, but for example, this storm near Godibo was walloped earlier with baseball-sized hail. That's not severe right now, but we still have this tornado warned storm with a hook on it that is pushing east towards Leon, and it's going to travel right along the Red River, likely passing just south of Marietta. So PDS watch all the way until 11 p.m. Mike, this has been a busy day, but what we're hoping is the rain, especially the showers and storms that just pushed through the metro, may be helping things on for later in the evening.
Boy, Emily, there's so much rain-cooled air around. There's so much rain-cooled air that a large part of this green you see right here is being dominated by rain-cooled air. You're taking away the energy for these storms to really go high end. And this is a PDS tornado watch, especially dangerous situation. But the rain-cooled air is stealing a lot of energy in a lot of our state. And this is really good news. Lots of big hail up here in northern Oklahoma. Supercell heading in the general direction of the wind star and near and south of Marietta. But the tornado warnings have been allowed to expire up in northern Oklahoma. Here's the broad view. The metro, we're in great shape, 100%. There's a little bit of moderate downpours of rain scattered about, but no problem. We're in absolutely great shape, and the threat, and we have some rain-cooled air even moving into the metro as well. The threat will pass the metro by no later than about 9 p.m. So we just have a 2-hour window, and these are doing absolutely nothing, just nothing. And this is really good, really, really good news. A little bit of spot hail up here in the Edmond area, heavier downpours of rain, but nothing too big and too bad. This is a big supercell here. So the wind star, Leon, and the wind star here, eventually wind star right here, Thackerville. So north of the wind star, south of Marietta. Aaron Sanders is down here in southern Oklahoma. Now, this is down in Love County on the Red River with a live update here. Aaron?
Yeah, Mike, we're going to be heading southbound on I-35 right now, just south of Wynnewood, heading to get a good intercept path and get set up on the storm down here along the Red River. I don't really have any eyes on anything at the moment. We're still pretty ways up north of the storm, but we're making our way down there. We'll be down there probably about 20, 30 minutes. We'll be set up on the shot for y'all. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you so much. Let's go back over to radar here. So, again, this is way down the Red River. There's the red and the green. It's been a confirmed tornado producer many, many times here, tracking due eastward into southern Love County. But, again, that's the Red River. There's your time of arrival, Marietta at 7:44. It's 7:07 right now. And over there toward Medill, Lake Texoma at 8:15. It's got baseballs with it, tennis balls and baseballs. So let's go back up to all the action up here. And this is going to be Major County, Garfield County, and Grant County up into Alfalfa County. All the tornado warnings have expired. The chopper is here with Mason Dunn live from McIntyre Law Chopper 4. Mason?
Well, guys, you're looking at our shot right here. We're in O'Keene looking north at these two storms that were tornado warned that are not right now. Hopefully, they may dissipate. We were following this other storm that went up towards Enid that ended up going in front of these two storms. I don't know if that storm knocked them two out, but there's no tornado warnings right now. Hopefully, they will not regenerate right now, but we're hanging out at O'Keene looking north. Got a couple of feeder bands, pretty sized feeder bands going into this storm right now. So we're going to sit here and watch this, and hopefully it'll go away, but we'll be on top of it for McIntyre Law, Chopper 4. Back to you.
Mason, thank you very much. Let's go back over to radar again. So a lot of big hail up here, but we talked about that big gust of rain-cooled air blasting through all of this, and that undercuts those mesocyclones, and that's exactly what has happened. So these have heavy rain, flooding, and a lot of golf ball and tennis ball size hail, but all the tornado warnings have expired. There's all the hail, big hail. Now the one area to watch is from Ames over to Wacomas, Bar, Bison, Vance, and then from there over to Covington, Fairmont, Garfield County. That's the one big area to watch, kind of on the southern side of all this heavy rain, flooding, and hail up here in northern Oklahoma. The motion there is to the east. So Garfield County, definitely stay heads up. But even this part of the state, the air's pretty rain-cooled. A lot of energy, a whole bunch of energy has been taken away today over a large part of our state, and that is limiting the high-end potential. We've had several tornadoes, yes, but so far no high-end tornadoes. Let's go over to Eric Dixon, tracking this activity coming into Garfield County. Here's a live update for you folks around Bar, Bison, Wacomas, Vance, Fairmont, and Covington in the path of that storm. Eric?
Yeah, Mike, I'm actually just passed through the town of Ames here. I was kind of noticing the velocities are kind of coming up a little bit right over, right about where Ames is here. I'm in a kind of a cool slot in the area. I've got 66 degrees, at this area here. So we're watching it closely. We don't have any lowerings back in there. The storm is not terribly, too strong right now, but we've kind of had a little bit of a gust out there, so we're going to try to see if this storm can kind of reorganize here. But I'm driving east right now with it here. I'll turn the shot back here just momentarily, but nothing terribly too ominous at the moment here with this storm that I'm on Ames right now. Mike?
Okay, Eric, thank you so much. Back over to radar. So again, tornado warnings have all expired. Really good news. And again, what happened was a great big gust of wind came up and blasted through all this. It's 80 in Enid, so it's pretty warm in Enid, but it's in the 60s, the upper 60s in Major County. So a lot of that high-end energy and fuel has been robbed from this complex of storms. Now, earlier we had some tornadic activity. Let's go to Corey Inman, talk about the severe weather. Still lowerings here and there. Tell us where you are right now, Corey.
Yeah, Mike, we are east of Fairview, coming in, closing in on Isabella, kind of between Ames and Ringwood, coming in on the backside of this storm as it tracks to the east. The camera's actually pointed back to the northwest, Mike, because of the rain in here, trying to keep the lens clean. But right now, scanning in there, don't see anything too ominous. Like you said, drop the tornado warnings that they had earlier. The area that you're looking at in the shot back to the northwest, that's the area that produced the tornado back in the Chester area and then back over Mutual when we had that first tornado back there. So that thing's, the base in there is really, really kind of flat, have the rain out ahead of it. But we still have, like you said, it's rain cooled in here, but there's still a strong southeast wind, even on the backside of this Ames storm blowing back to the storm to the northwest. So, we're punching through here and should be right up to the base of this Ames storm shortly, Mike.
Okay, Corey Inman, very good. So if you're just now joining us, here it is 7:11 this evening. There's a lot of rain-cooled air out there. A very large part of this PDS tornado watch has rain-cooled air. It's all complements of the severe storms that took off at about 4 o'clock this afternoon in southwest Oklahoma and raced to the northeast, wiping out a lot of the high-end potential over a large part, not all of it, but a large part of this PDS tornado watch. This is really good news. There are no tornado warnings in northern Oklahoma. There's one tornado warning for southern Love County, north of the Wind Star and near and south of Marietta, and there's no severe weather anywhere near the Oklahoma City metro. Best case scenario, there's just no doubt about it, and this is really good news. Here's the broad view. Notice a big gap, nothing anywhere near the metro, a couple of isolated areas of heavy downpours of rain, but no big deal. And you see just rain, heavy rain, some briefly heavy rain. North Edmond, East Edmond, Arcadia, heading up toward Luther. All of that is non-severe. South central Oklahoma, big supercell here near Leon. Tornado warning here for southern Love County, far southern Oklahoma. Circulation there is now crossing the Red River back into Oklahoma. That's why there's a tornado warning there. Talking about Marietta at about 7:44, near and north of the Wind Star at about the same time. And tennis balls and baseballs with that. And then northern Oklahoma, let's go back over to Aaron Brackett. Aaron Brackett's also tracking this. There's a bit more favorable environment in Garfield County and Noble County and parts of Kay County. That's where these are heading, so we're still being very vigilant here and tracking it very carefully. Aaron?
Yeah, Mike, we're right near Drummond right now, so basically just south of that massive hail core, and getting a little bit of an outflow wind right now, actually. It's kind of coming from, wow, that's pretty strong. It's coming from the north and east, really strong here within just the last couple minutes. Yeah, wow. We're watching that hail core just to our north that continues to make its way toward the Enid area. And, yeah, wow, we are getting a lot of wind here. I'm not exactly sure why. If that's from the edge of the hail core and things that, Kevin Joseph, you can show the grass maybe or some of the trees. We're looking due west, so this is going to be a northeast wind that is really strong. Really, really strong here near the Drummond area, and lots of hail just barely off to our north. So that hail core is going to be a problem for Enid and Vance Air Force Base for sure as it moves into the south and southwest edges of town. We're about to turn around right now and follow this eventually up back to Wacomas. We're going to be just on the south side of it. We'll get you a roof cam shot. then we'll make our way into Enid and follow this closely, Mike.
Okay, so Aaron, again, you're in Drummond, which is not too far away from Enid, and you have a wind, what you're calling an outflow wind. What is the temperature of that outflow wind, and is it blowing away from the storm?
Yeah, it appears to be blowing away from the storm, but it might be trying to. It's now, the wind's changing. It's now becoming a north and northwest wind. So it was northeast. Now it's a due northerly wind, almost northwest. Now it's northwest. So it's actually wrapping around the storm as we speak right now. Boy, is it strong. It's really strong. I'm going to move the vehicle around. Wow. It went from about no wind to quite a bit of wind and not a lot of time. So we're going to kind of angle the car around. Yeah, now it's a north wind. Now it's a northwest wind. You can see the rain curtains right there. And we are, again, right near Drummond. So right where that hail core is and right where there was a little bit of a notch just a little bit ago. We're not seeing anything. Kevin Joseph showing you the cloud base. We're not seeing anything coming out of it. We are south of the hail core, but now, now the wind is west. So it has gone from a northeasterly to a northerly to a west wind all within about the last 2 minutes. So now, turning around, we're going to start heading off to the east, and we're going to go back to to Waukomis, and we're going to look at this thing. We've got some small tree debris kind of coming on this gravel road that we're on, again from northwest. Yep, there's a limb that's blown down.
How really strong are these winds, would you say? How strong are these winds?
That was about 65 miles an hour to pushing 70. 65 pushing 70. Okay. Started northeast, went north, and now it's northwest.
Okay, so this is near Drummond down here by Waukomis, and the wind is coming in from the north. So let's go ahead, and Aaron Brackett right there. Let's go over to Corey Inman, because he's right there in the same area. So damaging winds in through here. And there is a more favorable environment in this part of the state as compared to other parts of the state for these to keep going with supercell characteristics. We're talking about Garfield County, Noble County, and Kay County. Let's go to Corey Inman here and check that out. Corey, so we're showing some pretty high velocity winds here. Could be outflow, but there's also a big area of low pressure up there. So there's a lot of energy in those storms. Hail sizes are going to stay big. You're tracking it with Eric Dixon in that part of the state, and the chopper is there as well. Tell us what you got.
Yeah, Mike, we are just to the the southwest of Drummond, closing in on the backside of the storm that Aaron was talking about, from east of Fairview, north of Ames, all the way over here to southwest of the Drummond area. We've encountered some areas where we had quarter-size hail that was covering the road. There's a lot of tree debris in here, where the hail core came through and just kind of shredded the leaves off the trees. We haven't encountered any of the high-velocity winds that Aaron had. Actually, right here where we're at, the winds are almost calm. So we're just a few miles behind the storm here, so we'll be coming in to the south side of
power lines down.
Okay. So Eric Dixon has power lines and power poles apparently down. Let's go over to Eric Dixon. A lot of wind here. Yeah, there's power pole down. So this is up here in Garfield County. There's some pretty high velocity winds. Waukomis, Barr, Bison, Drummond, Vance Air Force Base. It's heading for Covington and Fairmont. Winds could be 70, 75, maybe 80 miles an hour locally. There's a big, strong area of low pressure right now in northern Oklahoma. So you folks in Noble County and Kay County and in Garfield County, of course, stay very alert. Still a high threat of damaging winds up here in this part of the state. We're seeing that right here. Go Eric Dixon.